Hi everyone, it's Wes here, and today I want to talk about how you can get ready for an international interview. So, you have been called for interviews, or maybe you're applying for jobs that are international jobs. So, you're anticipating an interview. I mean, you're very hopeful that they may call you for the interviews. So, what if they call you for the interviews? How can you get prepared for these interviews? So, lucky enough, I've been able to do a little bit more international interviews, and I have been successful in some and haven't been successful in the others. But then I have an idea of what you can be able to do to increase the chances of you being successful. So in this video, I really thought I'd just share how you can get prepared for the interview itself and what you can do during the interview for you to be successful. So I won't waste much of your time. So let me just be quick. So the first one is make sure you understand the invitation email or the invitation. So why I'm saying this is because most of the times when you apply for a job outside your country, normally the invitation comes through an email. So when you get that email, make sure you read it through and through. Because what I mean is you really have to understand what they're requesting of you or when the interview will be done. Also check on the timing differences because let's say you've applied in USA, you have to check the time differences because you may think they'll call you the time that you're thinking of, but maybe they've set it in their time in USA. Let's say they've set it 1 p.m. In USA, and you're thinking it's your time. I mean, so yeah, you get the idea. So make sure you read through and through the email. You understand what they're really looking for, like what they want. So that's the first point. The second point is make sure you research the position that you applied for. Now, how can you do this? You get to check the application itself in terms of like when you're applying, I'm pretty sure you kept the records to say, okay, this is what I applied for. Okay, that's what I always do. And maybe this is the tip that I should share with you. Sometimes when we're applying for jobs, we apply for many jobs that we even forget what we applied for. So for me, what I normally do is when I'm applying for jobs, I always create a folder. So let's say I have like a folder to say job vacancies. I apply for, let's say, job at UN. I put a folder UN. I write the job that I apply for. I put all the documents in there, and I also save the actual job vacancy in the folder. So I'm applying for a job at, let's say, Plan International. I put a folder Plan International. I'm applying to UNICEF. I put another folder for UNICEF. So you get the idea. So the point is, once you're called for interviews, go back to that folder and then read through and say, okay, this is what I applied for. Because sometimes you may not have a trace or of what you applied for. They may just call you for the interview, but maybe you still don't have the information. I know you can be able to request it from the employer, but the idea is, I mean, when you're doing that, it's like you're never serious in the first place. Why didn't you keep it? I mean, but you get the idea. So make sure you understand what they were looking for or what they're looking for, and make sure you align yourself and understand the exact things that they're looking for, and make sure you find ways of selling yourself or selling your value based off the things that you've been able to see on the job vacancy. So that's the second point. Read through and through the job itself, the position. Now, point number 3 is research the organization or research the company, what they do, what they've been doing, and most importantly, go on their social media platforms, check on their LinkedIn, check on their Twitter, check on their Facebook. What have they been posting? So that gives you an idea to say this has been the focus of this organization in recent times. So you can be able to find information that you use during the interviews, either to ask them questions to do with, oh, I saw you have recently maybe implemented such a project, or how will my position fit into that project? So the idea is thoroughly research the organization. Please, on this one, you should, because I remember some of the interviews that I've had, they've asked me to say, what are the pressures that we are facing as an organization? Now, if you haven't read or understood what the organization is going through, you may not be able to answer that question. So the idea is read through recent news, even go back, let's say 3 months time, what did they post on their social media platform? So once you get to understand that, that will somehow give you an idea of what they're looking for. Rather, that will give you an idea of what the organization has been doing or it's doing at the moment. So make sure you understand this. Now, point number 4, get your technical stuff sorted out. So by this I mean get your laptop, get your Wi-Fi or your internet. If need be, you may get headsets just for maybe for you to understand clearly and for you to be able to speak very audible enough through a microphone. So make sure you get your technical stuff ready. So on this one as well, you also just have to make sure that you find a proper space that has proper lighting, like this one. Is it like this one, so they can be visible enough? And one thing that I also recommend is if you find a space that it can show this half of you, that's much better. Because sometimes when you're doing a video call or it's an online interview, you always just want your face. But if you can do maybe your upper body should be seen, that's very much better. So when you're showing your upper body, it shows there's a certain level of like self-confidence that comes out from like maybe you showing the gestures and everything. So make sure you show your upper body if you can. Yeah, whether if whether if down there you just wearing slides or so in your sweatpants, I mean that's okay. But then just make sure that up here you're more presentable. So that's point number 4. Sort your technical stuff and make sure you find proper space. Now, point number 5, which is more like the previous one, make sure you're presentable enough. So what do I mean by this? I was recently doing a coaching with someone on interviews. So he was supposed to have an interview with a UK company. So he was asking me, "Oh, do you think I should put on a tie?" I was like, yeah, you should. So I showed him a picture of myself when I was doing the interviews for the job that I have here in the UK. So I was like in a full on suit. Like it's not like I just wore like the upper body, then down there I was in my sweatpants or something. No, I was really in a full suit. You know, like the clothes that you put on can really give you the sense of confidence or formality. I don't know if you get what I mean. So just make sure you're well dressed, presentable enough. If you can, I would say dress as if you're going for a physical interview, even though it's what online. Yeah, so that's it. Make sure you're presentable enough so that yeah, you look great, you look fresh. You already know what I mean. So what else? So point number 6 now. Yeah, point number 6 now. Make sure you practice few questions. Even you can practice them on a camera, like what I'm doing. You can look at the camera and you try to introduce yourself, or you try to answer some of the basic questions that we normally have in the interviews, like, oh, tell us why you applied for this role, or why should we hire you, or tell us more about yourself, or what are your strengths or weaknesses. So you can do practice on the camera, or you can be able to call a friend or a colleague, like, you know what, I'll call you on Zoom, or even I'll call you on WhatsApp. Can we be able to have a practical rehearsal session, me and you, maybe 20 minutes, just to see how I'm answering. So make sure you do a little bit practice, because that helps you to somehow calm your nerves whenever you get on the interview day. So the last one, which is the most important one, make sure you log in early. So what I really mean by, if you know that your interview is at 1 p.m., make sure you have logged in by 10 to 1 or even 5 to 1, I mean latest. But make sure you log in early, because I mean, come to think of this, if you have a physical interview and they tell you the interview starts at 9, normally you don't get at the place at, let's say, 2 minutes before 9. You normally get there like maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes or even 15 minutes or even 30 minutes before. So why not do the same with an interview? I think 30 minutes is a little bit too early for online interviews, but I mean, you can do 10 minutes or 5 minutes. I mean, 5 minutes is okay. So make sure you log in a little bit early. And what that does is, when you log in and let's say the interview panel also logs in, I mean, before the actual time, you guys can start having an informal conversation, an informal chat. You talk about the weather, you talk about just different things, just to somehow calm your nerves, just to make you be at ease in terms of how you get to just to make you feel at ease. Now, when you get to the interview, you have already been relaxed, so it will be much easier for you to perform much better. So, I mean, this is a quick video, but I thought I would still do this one. So I hope you find this helpful. If you have an online interview, if you have an international interview, or whatever we can call it, make sure you do this, even if it's within your own country. But as long as it's an online interview, make sure you do these things. I hope I will see you again in the next video. If you find this helpful, make sure you subscribe. Peace.